Subaru buyers are some of the most loyal people in the car world. They are also some of the easiest to trap with the wrong year. Today, we are separating 6 Subarus I would avoid from 6 I would gladly buy. And number 1 is the safe enthusiast pick most buyers never expect, because maintenance history matters here. Number 12. Avoid 2011 to 2014. Subaru Forester 2.5i. This Forester looks like the smart snow country buy, but this exact window can turn oil level into your unpaid second job. I know why people want it. It sits tall, it has useful cargo room, it feels honest, and on a snowy road, it makes a front drive crossover feel nervous. But this is where we stop shopping by badge and start shopping by year. The issue is documented in FB25 oil consumption under Subaru Service Bulletin 02-157-14R. That bulletin covered 2011 through 2014 Forester models with the 2.5-liter FB engine. And the repair path could lead to piston ring-related work or short block replacement when unusual oil use was confirmed. That is not forum noise. That is Subaru paperwork, and that matters. The drivetrain is a naturally aspirated 2.5-liter FB25 flat 4, usually with a 6-speed manual or a CVT depending on the year and trim. When healthy, it feels simple. When it burns oil, it becomes a risky commuter because a low oil level can hurt the engine before the buyer understands what is happening. A real short block repair out of warranty can run around $5,000 to $8,000, and if the owner kept driving it low, the damage can go higher. Current used prices usually sit around $5,500 to $11,000, depending on miles, rust, and records. That price looks tempting next to a RAV4 or CRV, but one engine repair can wipe out the whole deal. In the shop, these are dangerous because they often start idle and drive fine during a quick test. The seller says it just had an oil change, and that can hide the story. Your checkpoint is simple. Check the dipstick cold before startup, ask for oil consumption test paperwork, and look for proof of short block or piston repair. No proof means you price it like a gamble, not a bargain. Check oil every 500 to 700 miles at first. Use the correct oil, and never stretch oil changes. Next is the Subaru I would buy when a guy needs cheap AWD without rolling dice on this oil burner window. If this straight Subaru advice saves you money, subscribe. We call out the bad years first, so your wallet stays safer. Number 11. Must buy 2016 to 2017 Subaru Crosstrek 2.0i. Here is the budget AWD Subaru that makes sense when you want traction, ground clearance, and simple running costs without buying more car than you need. This Crosstrek is not quick, and I am fine with that. Slow cars usually live easier lives. They get used by commuters, nurses, teachers, retirees, and people who just want to get home when the roads turn ugly. This is after the early FB20 oil consumption trouble that hit the earlier Impreza-based cars and the 2013 Crosstrek concern window. That is why this one lands on the must-buy side. We are not saying every later Crosstrek is perfect. We are saying this is the smarter window, because the known early oil issue is not the main cloud over the purchase anymore. The drivetrain is a 2.0-liter FB20 flat 4, naturally aspirated, with either a CVT or a 5-speed manual. No turbo heat, no luxury badge tax, no fake sport package promising something it cannot deliver. Current used prices usually run about $10,500 to $16,000, and yes, that is more than an old Forester, but it is often less scary once you price engine risk. Compared with the same-year Honda HR-V or Toyota RAV4, the Crosstrek gives standard AWD and useful height, but you accept modest power. That is the trade. In my eyes, this is best for a buyer who specifically needs AWD on a budget. Not a camper building a mountain rig, not a speed guy, just a practical owner who wants stable traction and predictable costs. Your inspection checkpoint is a full warm test drive. Listen for wheel-bearing hum at highway speed, feel the CVT at low speed, and make sure all 4 tires match in brand, size, and tread depth. Subaru. AWD hates mismatched tires. Rotate the tires on schedule, keep them matched, and service the front and rear differentials. Choose this car when you need cheap AWD, real ground clearance, and you do not care if a Corolla beats you to the next stoplight. But if you want an older Subaru wagon, the next one is where a low price can hide a head gasket bill. Number 10. Avoid 2005 to 2009 Subaru Outback 2.5i. A clean old Outback can look like the perfect mountain town wagon, but this generation can turn a low asking price into a costly lesson. This is the shape people trust. Long roof, roof rails, useful cargo room, and just enough clearance for dirt roads and winter slop. The problem is that the 2.5-liter EJ25 family, especially the EJ253 in these naturally aspirated cars, has a well-known head gasket failure pattern. We are talking external coolant seepage, oil seepage, coolant smell, overheating risk, and head gasket repairs that often show up when the car is old enough to be on its third owner. This is not a vague old car complaint. It is the classic Subaru gasket story people search for every day. And it is why a $2,000 Outback can become a $6,000 Outback fast. The drivetrain is a naturally aspirated 2.5-liter EJ253, flat-4 with a manual or automatic, depending on year and trim. When it is maintained and the gaskets are already done correctly, it can be a useful wagon. But buying one with original gaskets and a mystery cooling system is where the pain starts. A realistic head gasket job usually lands around $2,500 to $4,000, especially if you do the timing belt, water pump, thermostat, seals, and machine work while it is apart. Current used prices sit around $2,500 to $7,000, which is why people get tempted. They compare it to a Highlander or CR-V and think they found a secret. Maybe they did, but only if the repair history is real. In the shop, the line I hate is, "It only leaks a little." Coolant loss is not a personality trait. It is a warning. Your inspection checkpoint is the head seam, especially from underneath. Look for coolant smell, oil wetness, bubbles in the cooling system, and any sign the temperature gauge has climbed. Maintenance time. Only consider one if the head gaskets were already done with receipts and the timing belt service was handled at the same time. Now we move to a Forester that keeps the Subaru usefulness, but steps away from the worst oil consumption years. Number 9. Must buy 2017 to 2018 Subaru Forester 2.5i. This is the Forester I would show a practical buyer who wants visibility, easy entry, and AWD without stepping into the bad oil years. It is not fancy. That is the whole point. You sit upright, the glass is tall, the rear hatch is useful, and it does the daily job without pretending to be a German SUV. The safer part is the year window. We are past the 2011 through 2014 Forester oil consumption bulletin years, and we are choosing the naturally aspirated 2.5i instead of a neglected Turbo XT. The drivetrain is a 2.5-liter FB25 flat-4 with a CVT in most examples. No turbocharger, no premium fuel requirement, no kid racer story. Used prices usually run around $12,500 to $18,500, with mileage and rust making a big difference. Compare that with a same-year RAV4 or CR-V, and the Forester may not always be cheaper, but it gives you standard Subaru AWD and excellent outward visibility. For older drivers, visibility matters. You can see the corners, see traffic, and get in without dropping into a low seat. In real ownership, this is the Subaru for the guy who hauls dogs, tools, groceries, fishing gear, or grandkids without needing a giant three-row. It feels light enough around town and useful enough on a bad weather weekend. Your inspection checkpoint is a fully warm drive. Feel the CVT from a stop. Then again, at light throttle around neighborhood speed. Listen for wheel bearing hum. Check the AC and make sure the tires match. Change oil around every 5,000 miles. Service the differentials and rotate tires on schedule. Do not run mismatched tires just because one was cheaper. Choose this car when you want a reliable Subaru with easy entry, strong visibility, and honest cargo space without chasing newer car prices. Who should skip it? Anyone needing heavy towing or a quiet luxury cabin. This is a practical tool, not a leather-lined highway sofa. The next Subaru is smaller and cheaper, but its early FB20 engine is exactly why we do not just buy by badge. Number 8. Avoid 2012 to 2013 Subaru Impreza 2.0i. This Impreza looks like the cheap AWD cheat code, but these early years are where the oil story gets risky. I understand the attraction. It is small, easy to park, usually cheaper than a Crosstrek, and it gives you Subaru traction without SUV pricing. But that is exactly why budget buyers get pulled in too fast. The documented issue is FB20 oil consumption under Subaru Bulletin 02 15714R. These same years also fall in the valve spring recall window, but the backbone problem here is the oil consumption. The engine is a 2.0-liter FB20 flat 4, naturally aspirated, with a CVT or manual transmission. It is not a powerful engine, so people assume it must be safe. That is not how engines work. If the oil control rings are part of the problem and the car keeps running low, the repair can move towards short block replacement. Out of warranty, that can mean $5,000 to $8,000, and on a cheap Impreza, that can be more than the car is worth. Current used prices usually run about $4,500 to $9,000 for regular 2.0i cars, depending on miles and body style. That is where the trap lives. A same-year Civic may cost more, and the Impreza has AWD, so it feels like a bargain. But a bargain that drinks oil is not a bargain. In the shop, I have seen cars that arrive 1 quart low, then 2 quarts low. Then the owner starts hearing noise and says the light only came on once. That is too late. Your inspection checkpoint is strict. Check the oil level before the seller starts it. Ask for recall completion and oil consumption repair proof. If the seller says, they all use some oil, slow down. If you own one already, check oil every fill-up until you know its pattern, and keep oil changes around 5,000 miles. Do not treat the dipstick like decoration. If you want Subaru wagon space without this early FB risk, the next one is the cargo pick I would rather own. Number 7. Must buy 2018 to 2019. Subaru Outback 2.5i or 3.6R. This Outback is the grown-up Subaru buy, roomy enough for real life and new enough to avoid the old gasket mess. It is the car for buyers who still like wagons, even if the market keeps calling everything an SUV. The safer angle is simple. We are after the 2013 to 2014 Outback oil consumption bulletin years, and we are far past the old EJ head gasket era. The 2.5i is the common value pick. The 3.6R costs more in gas, but it gives smoother power and a calmer feel when the car is loaded with people, luggage, or dogs. The drivetrain is either a 2.5-liter FB25 flat 4 with a CVT or a 3.6-liter EZ36 flat 6 with a CVT. Current used prices usually sit around $13,500 to $23,000, depending on trim, mileage, and accident history. Compared with a Highlander, Pilot, or a newer RAV4, the Outback often gives more wagon-like cargo space and better roof loading height for less money. It is not a tow rig, it is a road trip tool. This is best for the buyer who wants the most cargo room in a reliable Subaru without stepping into a 3-row SUV. In real use, these shine on highway trips, snowy mornings, gravel driveways, and bad parking lots. The seats are easy, the cargo floor is useful, and the roof is low enough that you can load gear without fighting it. Your inspection checkpoint is a warm CVT test. Feel for shudder or flare, listen for wheel bearing hum at highway speed, and test the screen, backup camera, and every HVAC mode. Keep CVT and differential services documented, rotate tires, and never run mismatched tires on Subaru AWD. Choose this car when you need wagon cargo, snow traction, a comfortable highway ride, and you do not want a bulky 3-row. If these year rules help you shop smarter, subscribe. We keep the advice simple because repair bills are already complicated enough. Now we go back to a Subaru people love for budget AWD, but one early year deserves a hard look before you buy. Number 6. Avoid 2013 Subaru XV Crosstrek. At first glance, this Crosstrek has the right shape, the right stance, and the right Subaru personality, but the first-year engine story makes me cautious. It is basically the little AWD hatch people wanted. Higher ride height, simple size, good visibility, and just enough rugged look to make a snowy commute feel less annoying. But 2013 is the danger zone. The documented issue is FB20 oil consumption under Subaru Bulletin 02 157-14R. This year also falls under the WTY 84 valve spring recall, so paperwork matters twice. The drivetrain is a naturally aspirated 2.0-liter FB20 flat 4 with a CVT or manual transmission. On paper, it sounds basic. In the real world, early oil consumption can make basic ownership feel nervous. A short block repair out of warranty can run about $5,000 to $8,000 if the issue was never corrected. Current used prices usually sit around $7,500 to $11,500, which is not cheap enough to ignore engine risk. That is the problem. If you are paying real money, you need a real history. Compared with a later Crosstrek, this first-year car may save a few $1,000s up front, but the savings disappear if you inherit the wrong engine. I have watched budget buyers make this mistake because the car looks outdoorsy and clean. But clean seats do not tell you how much oil is used between changes. Your inspection checkpoint is VIN history first. Confirm recall completion. Ask for oil consumption test or repair records. Check the oil level cold, and listen for engine noise after a full warm drive. If the seller just changed the oil that morning, do not let that make you relax. Use the correct oil, change it around every 5,000 miles, and check the level often until you trust the car. If the records are thin, we walk. There are too many later Crosstreks to gamble on the first one. If you want a calm Subaru sedan that avoids the early oil consumption years, the next car is the quiet value play. Number 5. Must buy 2017 to 2019 Subaru Legacy 2.5i. This Legacy is the Subaru sedan people forget, and that is exactly why it can be a smarter buy. Everybody searches Outback. Everybody searches Forester. The Legacy sits in the corner looking plain, and that is where a patient buyer can win. The safe window matters here. We are after the 2013 to 2014 Legacy oil consumption bulletin years, and we are picking the latter 2.5i because it gives Subaru AWD without the SUV price bump. The drivetrain is a 2.5-liter FB25 flat 4 with a CVT. No turbo, no six-cylinder thirst in this pick, no off-road costume. Just a calm AWD sedan. Current used prices usually land around $10,500 to $18,000, depending on miles, trim, and service records. Compare that to an Outback from the same years, and you often see the wagon tax. Compared to a Camry or Accord, you give up some fuel economy, but you gain standard AWD. That is the reason to buy it. This is best for the buyer who wants AWD security but does not need a hatch, wagon, or crossover. In the real world, that is a lot of people. Empty nesters, commuters, snow state drivers, and guys who want a normal trunk instead of paying SUV prices. The Legacy is not exciting. That is why the insurance and repair profile often feels calmer than a used WRX or Turbo Subaru. Your inspection checkpoint is a warm test drive. Feel the CVT from a stop, from a rolling stop, and at light throttle. Check for suspension clunks, oil seepage, and tire mismatch. Keep CVT service records, differential fluids, brake fluid, and tire rotations current. Choose this car when you want AWD in a calm sedan, and you would rather save money than pay the Outback tax. Who should skip it? Anyone who needs hatch cargo, rough road clearance, or sporty steering. This is not that car. The next Subaru is not an oil burner story. It is a family SUV with a documented transmission problem that can get eagly. Number 4. Avoid 2019 to 2020 Subaru Ascent. This Ascent looks like the Subaru family hauler everybody asked for, but the early CVT story makes me cautious. I get why families shop it. 3 rows, standard AWD, big doors, decent power, and a Subaru badge on the nose. On paper, that sounds like the perfect Snow State family answer. But the documented issue is tied to the TR690 CVT and the multi-plate transfer clutch. Subaru issued warranty extension information for certain 2019 to 2020 Ascent models, covering shudder, judder, and vibration related to the MPT clutch and other CVT repairs. That is the exact language that matters. Not, maybe the transmission feels weird. Shudder, judder, vibration, MPT clutch, TR690, CVT. The drivetrain is a 2.4-liter turbocharged FA 24 flat 4 with a TR690 CVT and Subaru AWD. When everything works, it pulls nicely. When it acts up, a family SUV stops feeling like a safe choice. Related clutch or internal CVT work can run around $2,000 to $4,500, and a full CVT replacement can be around $7,000 to $10,000 out of warranty. Current used prices usually land around $15,000 to $25,000, depending on miles, trim, and history. That sounds attractive next to a Pilot or Highlander, but only if the transmission story is clean. In the shop, this is the one where a short test drive can fool you. You need it warm. You need a light throttle. You need a steady speed between 20 and 45 miles per hour. That is where shudder can show. Your inspection checkpoint is to drive it fully warm and feel for shudder, judder, vibration, or binding. Then verify recall, campaign, and warranty extension history by VIN. Keep CVT and differential service documented, avoid overheating the drivetrain with heavy loads, and be careful with towing. If paperwork is missing, do not accept Subaru checked it once as proof. If you just need the cheapest safe AWD Subaru car, not 3 rows. Number 3 is a cleaner play. Number 3. Must buy 2018 to 2020 Subaru Impreza 2.0i. This is the tight-budget Subaru I would rather buy because it avoids the early FB20 trouble years and keeps the job simple. It does not have the adventurous look of a Crosstrek. Good. That helps keep prices more reasonable. You still get standard AWD, a compact size, and decent fuel economy, but you are not paying extra for black plastic cladding and a taller stance. The safer part is the timing. We are after the 2012 to 2013 Impreza oil consumption bulletin years, but you still need to verify valve spring recall completion before you buy. That makes this the cleaner budget Subaru play. The drivetrain is a 2.0-liter FB20 flat 4 with a CVT or manual transmission. It is not fast. Nobody should pretend it is. But for a buyer who wants a basic AWD daily, that is not a deal breaker. Current used prices usually run around $10,500 to $18,000, depending on miles, hatchback, or sedan body and trim. Compared with a later Crosstrek, this Impreza is usually cheaper. Compared with a Corolla or Civic, it gives AWD, but you must respect Subaru tire and fluid rules. This is best for the tightest budget on this list, especially for someone who wants newer safety tech but cannot justify Outback or Forester prices. In real ownership, it works for commuters, college kids with practical parents, snow state workers, and anyone who parks outside in winter. Your inspection checkpoint depends on transmission. On CVT cars, test smooth takeoff and warm cruising. On manuals, feel for clutch slip. On all of them, listen for wheel bearings and check that all tires match closely. Change oil around every 5,000 miles. Rotate tires and service the differentials. Matched tires matter more here than many buyers understand. Choose this car when you want the cheapest clean Subaru AWD daily, and you do not want to gamble on the early oil burner years. Subscribe if you like. Buyer rules that keep things simple. We are not chasing badges, we are keeping repair bills smaller. But there is one Subaru sedan window I still avoid because it shares the oil consumption story buyers search for every day. Number 2. Avoid 2013 to 2014 Subaru Legacy 2.5i. This Legacy looks like a sensible AWD sedan, but these are the exact years where a cheap deal can turn into an expensive engine conversation. That is what makes it tricky. It does not look abused. It does not look sporty. It looks like something a careful person drove to work, parked in a garage, and serviced sometimes. But the documented issue is FB25 oil consumption, under Subaru Bulletin 02, 15714R. The bulletin applies to 2013 to 2014 legacy models with the 2.5-liter FB engine. The repair path for confirmed unusual oil consumption can involve major engine work, including short block replacement. The drivetrain is a naturally aspirated 2.5-liter FB25 flat 4 with a CVT. It feels smooth enough on a normal drive, which is why buyers miss the risk. The problem may not show in 10 minutes. It shows between oil changes. Out of warranty, a short block repair can run around $5,000 to $8,000. Current used prices usually sit around $5,500 to $10,000, which makes the math dangerous. Pay $8,000 for the car, then face a $6,000 engine repair, and suddenly the safe AWD sedan was not safe at all. Compared with a Camry or Accord, this legacy gives AWD and often costs less. That is the bait. But a front-drive Camry that holds oil is cheaper to own than an AWD Subaru that needs an engine. In real-world buying, I would rather pay more for a later legacy with records than gamble on this window with a seller who shrugs at oil use. Your inspection checkpoint is paperwork before emotion. Ask for oil consumption test records, short block receipts, or dealer history. Check the dipstick before startup. Listen for timing chain noise, bottom end noise, or any low oil warning history. Use the correct 0W20 oil. Change it around every 5,000 miles. Keep the PCV system healthy and never stretch intervals. If the seller says it only needs oil sometimes, that is not reassurance. That is a warning. Number 1 is the Subaru I would buy for fun, but only if you pick the right years and the right transmission. Number 1. Must buy. 2017 to 2020 Subaru BRZ manual. Here is the safe Subaru pick for the guy who still likes driving, and it is not the one most people expect. Yes, I am putting the BRZ here, and yes, we need to say the honest part right away. This is not AWD. If you need winter traction, buy the Crosstrek, Forester, Legacy, Outback, or Impreza we already covered. But if you want driving enjoyment without stepping into WRX abuse, this is the Subaru that makes sense. The safe window is the reason. We are staying after the 2013 BRZ valve spring recall year. The 2017 refresh is the better starting point, especially with the manual, because it kept the car simple, light, naturally aspirated, and driver-focused. The drivetrain is a 2.0-liter FA20 flat 4, naturally aspirated, with a 6-speed manual preferred, rear-wheel drive, and a limited slip differential on many trims. Current used prices usually run about $15,000 to $23,000, though clean, low-mile cars can push higher. Compared with a used WRX, this car is usually less tempting for people chasing big boost and street race nonsense. That matters. The BRZ is not powerful, and that is part of why it can survive. The danger is not the basic design. The danger is the previous owner. A stock BRZ driven by an adult is a different car from one with cheap coilovers, loud exhaust, sticky mismatched tires, a tune, and drift scars underneath. This is best for the most driving engagement from a safer Subaru choice. It gives steering feel, balance, and a real manual gearbox without needing 300 horsepower. Your inspection checkpoint is owner history. Avoid modified cars, engine tunes, rough clutch chatter, rear differential noise, bent wheels, cheap suspension parts, and signs of track abuse. A compression or leak down test is smart on any rough one. Maintenance tips: keep oil changes around 5,000 miles, use quality tires, replace spark plugs on schedule, and keep it close to stock. Choose this car when you want a safe Subaru pick that is actually fun, and you do not need AWD, family cargo, or crossover space. This earns number 1 because it proves the bigger point. Subaru is not simply good or bad. The right year, right engine, right transmission, and right owner history decide everything. Buyer cheat sheet. Here's the fast garage version before you spend your own money. Avoid the oil consumption bulletin cars unless the repair is documented. That means 2011 to 2014 Forester 2.5i 2012 to 2013, Impreza 2.0i 2013 XV Crosstrek, and 2013 to 2014, Legacy and Outback 2.5i. Also, be careful with older EJ25 Outbacks unless the head gaskets were already done correctly with receipts. A cheap Subaru with a coolant smell, original gaskets, and an overheating history is not a bargain. It is a repair bill waiting for a new owner. Be careful with the 2019 to 2020 Ascent models unless the CVT history, recall history, and warranty extension paperwork are clean. The safer list is simple. Crosstrek for budget. AWD. Forester for visibility and easy entry. Outback for cargo room. Legacy for quiet. AWD sedan value. Impreza for the tightest budget. The BRZ manual for safe driving fun if you do not need AWD. The 10-minute inspection routine is simple. Start cold. Check oil before startup. Let it idle. Watch the temperature. Drive fully warm. Feel the CVT under light throttle. Listen for wheel bearings at highway speed. Do a slow parking lot turn. Check tire matching. Look underneath for rust. Ask for records, not promises. One more rule. Never buy the story before you buy the paperwork. Fresh oil, clean seats, and shiny photos can hide hard mileage. Receipts, matching tires, stable temperature, and a quiet, warm test drive tell the truth. If the seller rushes you, meet another seller. A Subaru with patience behind it usually feels calmer than one with excuses in the glove box. That rule saves buyers money every single week. And remember this: the best Subaru is not always the newest one, cleanest one, or cheapest one. It is the one with the right year, the right repair history, and the fewest excuses. Click the next video before you shop. I'll show the exact Japanese cars McCartney trusts and the years that turn cheap deals into expensive mistakes before they catch you cold.